Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2013. Our first news article of the day is something that you probably heard about yesterday. Amazon unveils plans for deliveries by drone. And obviously there are concerns that these will be used for spying and all sorts of other uses. I mean, once they're out there, it's like Google cars. Once people accept these drones flying around all the time, it's only going to open the door for more spying, more drones, more surveillance, more interference. And I have a few articles having to do with privacy, spying, and that sort of thing. Here's one that I found on Blacklisted News: Electronic Warfare. Scientists developed malware covertly jumps air gaps using inaudible sound. And the first paragraph: computer scientists have developed a malware prototype that uses inaudible audio signals to communicate, a capability that allows the malware to covertly transmit keystrokes and other sensitive data even when infected machines have no network connection. So that's pretty big. Another article that has to do with privacy to some extent, like why has this happened to some people? Another article from Blacklisted News: over 700,000 people on U.S. watch list. Once you get on, there's no way off. And why are people on? I mean, there is no public, open source, open criteria for how people get on. And I had an article a couple of weeks ago stating that many people with top clearances, government clearances, have the kind of IRS and other issues that prevent some people even just from flying. And here they are with very high government clearances. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's not justice in the system. And here from the Washington's blog: NSA tracks porn to discredit activists. This is just kind of a warning to beware. You know, we hope that we have integrity in our lives. It's important because these kinds of things can be used to discredit and disqualify people who otherwise are bringing a really significant message. So be cautious, have integrity. And moving into the subject of genetics and tampering with the world that God created, from Wake Up World: genetically modified cholera bacteria to be released in Australia. And this is just why. I mean, you have to ask why. It makes absolutely no sense, does it? And another article that is somewhat encouraging, just because it's, you know, these projects are doomed, but they'll still, of course, do a lot of damage in the process. Playing God: 4 geoengineering projects doomed to fail while polluting the earth. And this, once again, is from Wake Up World. And it has a list of the projects, and I won't get into them because my laptop sort of had a heart attack this morning, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to revive it. So it's time has ticked by, and I'm going to try to get through this quickly so I can post it before it gets too late in the day. Here from RT: despite rumors of a coup, another orange revolution in Ukraine is most unlikely. And I have another article on what's going on in Ukraine from Conscious Life News. Ukraine government survives no confidence vote amid mass protests. And I didn't have this link. I posted it on my Twitter, and I will probably put it in some other places. But there was a congressional hearing this morning about Obama's failure to follow the law, constitutional law and other law. I don't know how far something like that will get, but I'm hoping that Congress is going to begin to value the fact that the U.S. government has a 6% approval rating, and that something needs to give. We need to have some kind of a change, a shift. And here's an article another article from Washington's blog. 3 times as many Americans supported King George during the Revolutionary War than support our own Congress today. So as I said, I'm hoping that Congress is beginning to realize that something needs to change. They don't have our consent. The government does not have the consent of the governed. And the only way they are governing at this time is through force. And that is not a valid way to govern. It is not a lawful way in this country to govern. Since so many people are becoming so dissatisfied with their governments, worldwide really, there is a pushback. And here's a pushback from the blog libertyblitzkrieg.com. War on Democracy. Spain and Japan move to criminalize protests. And here, pertaining to the no-fly list from KQED News, former Stanford doctoral student challenges government's no-fly list. A trial challenging the government's no-fly list began today in a San Francisco federal courtroom. Rahina Ibrahim, a former Stanford University doctoral student, claims she was mistakenly placed on the list in 2005 and was denied boarding a Hawaii-bound plane from SFO in January of that year. According to the Mercury News, Ibrahim, a Malaysian national wearing a traditional Muslim hijab, was headed to an academic conference in Kona with her 14-year-old daughter. They don't, if you're on the no-fly list, you don't know it when you buy the ticket. You know it, you find out when you show up at the airport and they don't let you board. And this is not the way a free nation behaves, to treat its people this way. And leaning toward good news here, the Vatican Project has an article, 10 Signs that the Elite are Losing Control over the People. And as I said, I won't scroll through just to save time, but great article here, and definitely some encouragement. And we can hope that the final crushing blow somehow has landed. I suspect that will happen through divine intervention, that God will step in at some point. I'm not sure what that will look like, but there definitely is a sense that a shift is coming, and I certainly welcome that shift. Here's another bit of good news in one respect, and I've mentioned before that Ison supposedly broke up or something. This article is from Another Voice, Revelation 18:4. Imaginary Ison debris may hit Earth around New Year, say Russian scientists, and New World Order's, quote, city killer, end quote, meteorites. So there's all this, this fear being generated that there are going to be city killer meteorites, and a comet's coming, and a dark planet's coming. And I really wasn't too sure when I first began to hear about Elenin. I thought maybe there was something to it, the Nibiru Elenin stories. And I looked at some of them. But they're just laced with so much fear that it really feels as if these are distractions from the real issues. We have real problems right in front of us about which we have the ability to do something. Even if it's just call a congressman or a senator, write a blog, talk to people, print up some flyers and go stand on the corner outside where people are Christmas shopping. Whatever that your calling happens to be, whatever you feel you can do, you can do something for certain. It's not like sitting and staring at the sky in fear, waiting for a comet to strike. That's not where we are right now. We are in circumstances about which we can do something, even if it's only in small measure. Certainly through prayer. And here is our truly good news of the day. Some people live to be older than 100, and this is from Truth Theory. Longevity Secrets: 6 Reasons Okinawans Live to Be Older Than 100. And another list that I will let you peruse for yourselves, just in the interest of not using up a whole lot of time. And thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.